accurate weather forecasts, and sturdy shelters with dependable heating. Just two modern defenses against harsh weather that early settlers of this land lacked. Their very lives hinged on the whims of Mother Nature. A timely example this week is the Pilgrims, whose decision to settle in Massachusetts more than 400 years ago was largely dictated by the weather. Now, the Mayflower had been at sea for 2 months when the central headlands of Cape Cod came into view early on November 19, 1620. The original destination was New York, so they headed south. With wind and weather fair, wrote William Bradford, later governor of Plymouth Colony. After sailing half a day, the Mayflower entered an area off the southern tip of Cape Cod with dangerous shoals and roaring breakers, and they conceived themselves in great danger. In addition, winds had turned southerly, further slowing their progress. So with unfavorable waters and breezes, the 180-ton ship turned around and headed back north. Bradford wrote, they thought themselves happy to get out of those dangers before night overtook them. With a tailwind continuing the next day, the ship sped north and rounded the top of the Cape, dropping anchor in what is now Provincetown Harbor. Small groups spent the next month scouting for a suitable place for a permanent settlement, eventually deciding on the western shore of the bay, an area mapped 15 years earlier by the French explorer Champlain. A storm forced them to hunker down on a small island in the harbor, so the infamous landing at Plymouth Rock didn't take place until December 21st, with just 10 men, no ceremony, and probably no rock, just a beach. The rest of the Mayflower passengers joined them 5 days later. Bradford made it clear that the decision to settle at Plymouth was largely based on the weather. Now that the heart of winter was upon us, so that we could not go about coasting without danger of losing men and boat, especially considering what variable winds and sudden storms do there arise. The first winter at Plymouth wasn't that harsh compared to many that followed, but the weather was still more foe than friend. Only about half the group survived till spring. In that first winter, most lived aboard the Mayflower. The healthy went ashore to work on the settlement when weather permitted. Excerpts from Bradford's writings reveal the typical challenges of a New England winter. January 5th, 1621, it was foul weather that we could not go ashore. February 14th was very wet and rainy, with the greatest gust of wind that ever we had since we came forth. March 13th, at 1 of the clock, it thundered, which was the first we heard in that country. The much celebrated first Thanksgiving didn't take place until the following autumn of 1621, after the first harvest in the new land. More than 50 Pilgrims and 90 Native Americans took part in that 3-day celebration. I wish you and yours a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Stay tuned. We'll have more in a moment.